It's a law of fiction. The bad guy comes out of the woodwork to wreak havoc, often craving world domination. But look up in the sky, it's a bird, it's a plane, it's the good guy. The iron chain that connects these baddies together is one thing: the ironic name of Victor. Why ironic, you say? It's a play on the word victory. I'm DJ JD from Random Mind Studios, and this is 10 fictional villains named Victor. Please note that these are not in order of their threat level. That's for you to decide. Coming in at number 10, we've got Victor Freeze, aka Mr. Freeze. Introduced in the 1950s in the Batman comic as a lame, gimmicky villain named Mr. Zero, he had a penchant for all things cryogenic. Then along came the DC animated universe with Michael Ansara as the deadpan version that would forever change Freeze's portrayal.
Golden and firm as you are, I'd trade 1,000 of my frozen years for your worst day.
Not out for riches or power, a now grim, emotionless husk of the man he was before the death of his wife Nora, Freeze craves only one thing: vengeance. Freeze's cold, calculating mind holds no emotion, remorse, or sympathy. You find yourself in his path, you're a dead man walking, unless you cling to your warmest thoughts. And even then, that just might not be enough. Number 9, Victor Creed. Starting the rest of this list off wild and woolly, the deranged, bloodthirsty, and impossible to kill Victor is the eternal enemy of James Howlett, aka Wolverine, his former brother-in-arms and occasional half-brother. A sadistic savage, Creed is driven by lust of violence. Armed with retractable claws, a radical healing factor, and superhuman agility and strength, and ultra-keen senses that can hear a tick sneezing, Creed is the most likely to retain victory for however short of a time it may be, no matter how much blood he has to shed. And coming in at number 8, Dr. Victor Falco. While the Rat King has long been a part of the Turtles Rogues Gallery, Falco, voiced by Jeffrey Combs, was a sleazy mad scientist who used the Krang's mutagen on his lab partner Dr. Tyler Rockwell, turning him into a mutant monkey.
Must have been Rockwell, which means Falco put him here, and he's been lying this whole time.
And extracting a serum from his brain to give himself psionic sense, a vision of the future.
Really? Then you must know I'm gonna smack the white off my lab coat. How humorous.
The next time he's seen, a lab accident left Falco severely burnt, blind, and corpse-like in appearance. Thanks to the mutagen that he was experimenting with, he now had the ability to control rats with his mind. Falco was able to even control the great Hamato Yoshi with his evil power. But eventually, Yoshi was able to turn the tables by placing a blindfold around himself. Number 7, Victor Frankenstein. While it's not completely fitting of the title of villain per se, his creation was a sin against nature to say the least, known for his infamous catchphrases,
"He's alive!"
and
"I think I created a monster."
this mad scientist was in for the shock of a lifetime when his monster gained its empty sentience. Apart from desecration of graves, tampering with forces beyond his control, Frankie's crimes are most likely tantamount to negligence, and the crime of making us spill our perfectly buttered popcorn. At number 6, we've got Victor Dalby Lorde the First. Stepping into real life for a second, let me assure you, in the real world, it is intolerable as much as it is in fiction. A part of the long-run soap opera One Life to Live, the billionaire Victor Lorde was a well-known and highly successful publisher of the Landview Banner. A powerful man, Victor was a well-respected but very different person out of view of the public who worshipped him. The Lord Patriarch, actually cold-hearted, murdered in the 70s, but even death was an evolving door that he couldn't get past. It was revealed that Victor was an incestuous serial rapist who had abused his eldest daughter Vicky for years, causing her mind to split. But when it turned out in 2003, Victor was still alive despite being smothered by a pillow, and was willing to extract the heart from his still alive granddaughter Natalie to continue living. His legacy is forever tainted by his evil, including his twin sons Todd Manning and Victor Lorde Jr. Got number 5, Victor Von Doom. A powerful, intelligent man whose tragic past laid the steps for his evil and hatred of humanity to fester, the seeds of which were laid in college in the States when an explosion from a dimensional projection device scarred his face for life, relegating him to wearing an iron mask. This is where his hatred for Reed Richards and the Fantastic Four would start to drive him mad. Successfully leading a coup against the leader of his home country, Latvia, Doom was now poised to conquer the world. Of course, he's got a lot of competition, both in the Marvel-verse, the DC-verse, and just about any fiction you can name. Look out, Doom. Magneto has the power against an Iron Mask. Number 4. The Gag Entry. Braggart, a so-called man's man, Victor Quartermaine, is a run-of-the-mill mix of Elmer Fudd and Gaston. Sorry to disappoint you, but the only reason that he made this list was because his last name was recognizable as a surname from General Hospital.
I told them and they wouldn't believe me, but I told them that. What in God's name is going on? Now listen here, all of you people. You owe me an apology.
Number 3. Victor Zokus. Megalomania is something that 007 has had to deal with a lot while being in the service of the Queen. Well, when bad guys aren't trying to laser off his junk. Victor Zokus, an ex-KGB agent, tried to make a name for himself in The World's Not Enough, though apparently neither were his skills. Like many villains, James Bond is stared into the face, but it was him who wound up on the slab at the end of the movie, not Bond. Number 2. Victor Zazz. A masochistic murderer, Victor's body holds the grim tally of many he has slain. While it is a tagline that is used by one of the more famous psychos in the Batman franchise, all it takes is one bad day, and you'd be just like me. And Victor has lived it and proved it. At a young age, the loss of his parents led down a very winding road, and gambling his vast family fortune away and losing it to the Penguin left Victor suicidal and about to do a Peter Pan off the Gotham Bridge. However, a chance encounter with a deranged homeless man with a knife led to Victor's realization that there is no point of living, and that death would be a liberation. This twisted perception is Victor's ultimate victory, however, is the honor of being the foe that Batman has admitted to hating the most. Before we get to number 1, let's take stock of the other side of the spectrum, showing that there are good Victors out there as well as bad. So, Victor Sage, aka The Question, an enigmatic conspiracy buff, Sage's hunches are usually right, gaining prominence in the DC animated universe's Justice League Unlimited in the late 2000s, also being voiced by Jeffrey Combs.
This whole trip might just prove the kids shouldn't eat nachos before bed. Peanut butter sandwiches.
What? Do you go through my trash?
Please. I go through everyone's trash.
Question's mystique and silent mastery of fact leads him to a passionate relationship with Helena Bertinelli, aka the Huntress, and cracking the code on Project Cadmus. Though the latter nearly cost him his life, the Question is as resourceful as he is crazy. Victor Stone, Cyborg. Another DC superhero introduced in the New Teen Titans in the 1980s, Stone was a promising young black athlete with brains to match. Terrible accident would claim his mother's life and have his father, Dr. Stone. Dr. Stone would make a Faustian attempt to save his son with experimental technology, forever condemning the young man to being an outcast. Finding solace in his new friends, however, the Teen Titans. And no, we're not going to be including Corey Patton's second role of Cyborg on here. That being said, when the microchips are down, Stone is a machine who has the most human of hearts. And at number 1...
Do I really want to see this?
We don't want to miss the grand finale. Let's go.
Oh, Lord.
Victor Cassadine. Those of you who are not General Hospital viewers, let me fill you in on a little background. The Cassadines are Russian royal exiles who fled during the Bolshevik Revolution, amassing a vast fortune in the time in between then and the 1980s.
Say what you will about my family. Oh, I have. We do not poison our guests. When a Cassadine comes for you, he looks at you in the eye as your life drains away.
In 1981, the three brothers, with Mikos being the mastermind, tried to freeze the world with a carbonic snow generator using a fabled diamond called the Ice Princess as its source of power. Tony died with his lover Alexandria Quartermaine by accident, and Mikos was eventually frozen to death by the Cassadine's now mortal enemy, Luke Spencer. Victor, being the last of the brothers alive, was caught and apprehended by Robert Scorpio of the World Spy Bureau, the WSB, and dropped off the map until 2013, when he held Scorpio's daughter captive to resurrect his sister-in-law and nephew, Stavros. He had somehow become the new director of the WSB itself through secret deals after his incarceration was up. While it is unknown how he got there, one thing to know is that he is not insane like his brother Mikos and his children. Victor is still dangerous, having faked his death in 2014 in a lab explosion. Now it's revealed that the malcontent Cassadine, Valentine, was actually Victor's, not Mikos's, via Mikos's wife Helena, in an adulterous affair. Why is he one of the most dangerous in the world? Well, being evil and not crazy, Nicholas Cassadine, the grandson of Mikos, has said it himself.
Cassadines are hard to kill.
And you never know what they're gonna do next. And that does it for this week's video. Keep your eye out for more random find top 10 lists. And be sure to check out the other videos on this channel, and visit my friend Orion Pats if you are a Transformers trivia buff like I am. Peace out, pants foam, and fly out.